The world of video games offers players endless adventure and possibility. With engaging storylines, exciting virtual worlds, active communities of diverse people, and lovable characters. But sometimes all of that excitement can become overwhelming and obsessive, turning players into brainwashed meat sacks that feel as though they need the game to survive. Here are some of the worst ever documented video game addictions of all time. Before it was a box office failure at the cinema, World of Warcraft was gaming's most engaging community practice for over a decade, uniting over millions of players with hundreds of characters and one of the most complex game lores ever conceived. It's easy to see how an addiction can be formed. In fact, World of Warcraft is statistically responsible for more cases of video game addiction than any and all other video games throughout history combined. But in 2004, one player failed to understand the lines between the real and virtual world and took drastic steps in order to become one with the game. On December 27, 2004, a 13-year-old Chinese boy wrote a suicide letter to his parents, informing them of his desire to be with who he called the heroes of the game he worshipped. He binge-played World of Warcraft for 36 hours straight, and then leapt off a building to his death. Horrified by the loss of their son, his parents attempted to sue the Chinese distributors of the game to no avail. Another man lost his life to a video game after playing it for over 50 hours straight. The South Korean man didn't even set any records for the length of time playing a game, but found himself caught up in the intense gameplay of StarCraft and was unable to pull himself away. The only time he stopped playing was to attend the bathroom once. At hour 51, his body keeled over and he began to breathe heavily for a few moments before finally succumbing to death. An autopsy reported that he had literally died from exhaustion, and the video game was quickly to blame. The incident started an international frenzy, causing parents all over the world to monitor their children's video game habits so they wouldn't become so hooked. But it all remains an odd case, considering how multiple people in the United States, Japan, and Germany have all set records for how long someone can play a game in one sitting, with one person even lasting 17 days in a row. While RuneScape has all but come and gone in terms of its popularity, it was at one point in time a major competitor to World of Warcraft for its addicting gameplay with teens. In fact, it became overwhelming to one 15-year-old boy in Perth, Australia, who went to ludicrous lengths in order to continue playing the game. Fearing that school would cut into his much-needed RuneScape time, the student dressed up for school every morning for almost a month and pretended to leave his home for classes in order to fool his mother. But in reality, he waited until his mother left, then broke back into his own home and played the video game every single day, missing all of his classes and assignments. He called the school and informed them that he would not be attending classes for a while due to a surgery procedure he was getting. This ruse managed to last over 3 weeks before the school called his mother to check in on his operation status, and she found out he had been playing a video game instead. Sometimes video games can become so appealing that they hurt or kill other people merely by proxy. One newspaper reported that a young couple became so addicted to the virtual community of the game Prius Online that they forgot about their real-life daughter altogether. The South Korean couple abandoned their 3-year-old daughter at home without placing any safety measures around the house in order to go to a cafe to have a gaming session. When they returned, their daughter had mysteriously died. To make matters worse, a further investigation revealed that the game they were playing involved the raising of virtual children, and those children were deemed happy and healthy. In another nearly identical story, 2 small twins were killed after their father left them in a bathtub in order to play his Game Boy Advance. The children drowned, and the father was charged with manslaughter and neglect. One of the stranger cases of World of Warcraft addiction follows the story of a young New York player who offered her own body up in prostitution in order to receive 5,000 in-game gold. She posted her wanted ad to Craigslist, only to have it swiftly taken down. She persevered, however, and managed to find someone very willing to do the trade. There is no news on if she is still playing the game, but this is a case where we can imagine somebody's video game addiction made someone else very happy. One of the most well-known cases of video game addiction led to the death of a young man's mother after a dispute over the then newly released Halo 3. Daniel Patrick received 23 years in jail after killing his mother and severely wounding his father because they refused to let him play Halo 3 for extended periods of time. Patrick, a self-proclaimed Halo addict, reportedly walked into his mother and father's room one evening after a fight and asked his parents to close their eyes because he, quote, had a surprise for them. He then shot his mother between the eyes and his father in the head. Patrick is still in prison for his crime, and our hope is that when he gets out, his love of Halo will be severely diminished. But Halo is not the only game to cause a violent murder or attack. A young boy in Beijing took the virtual realities of World of Warcraft to heart and began to believe that he too was a fire mage. One day in school, he became involved in a fight with another student, and one who had reportedly been bullying him. The boy quickly pulled out lighter fluid and promptly set the bully on fire. The student he attacked survived, and the fire mage was quickly pulled out of school and sent to a reform program. But in another terrifying story, a man named Xu Chengwei attacked and stabbed his roommate and friend Zhu Chaoyuan after Chaoyuan sold a virtual sword in the game Legend of Mir 3 to another player. The two had made an agreement that Chengwei would receive the sword, and he became infuriated to find out that his friend already gave it away to someone else. That night, Chengwei crept into Chaoyuan's bedroom and stabbed him repeatedly while he slept. South Korea's crime unit responded effectively, but realized that had the event taken place without any violence, they had no laws set up to enforce virtual crime. They eventually would change their laws so that punishment could be doled out properly, while Chengwei was sent to prison in the meantime. But one of the strangest cases of gaming addiction comes in the story of a boy named Sean Woolley. The 21-year-old was found in his apartment by his mother after he shot himself while sitting at his computer. On the screen was the game EverQuest. Woolley's mother blamed EverQuest for Woolley's death, claiming that someone in the game had either told Woolley to kill himself or that a rejection of one of the characters or players in the game had sent him over the edge. After the story gained traction in the media, one of EverQuest's creators called Woolley's mother and discussed with her the possibilities of what really happened. He claimed that there is nothing in the game that would lead to someone shooting themselves, but Woolley's mother did not agree. She claimed that her son's addiction to EverQuest was long reported. She had talked to her son almost every day and he was expressing rage at the game, saying the other online players were breaking his heart. He continued to play until his last hours alive. The two parties split ways, both believing very different things. The game creator believed his invention was not at fault, and Woolley's mother continued to seek reparations from the game company for the loss of her son.